For husbands, we have to do a better job of expressing, communicating what we need, and to be able to provide examples of how we need it to be given to us. We fall very short in doing that a lot of times.
Do you feel men are capable of expressing that level of emotionalism without being insecure?
We are, but it goes back to what Cher originally talked about, because we have been basically instructed that you don't express these emotions, you don't share your feelings. So when we now come to a point where we really want to get those needs met, it's very difficult for us to go to a level of intimacy, of vulnerability, where we can express to our spouse what we really need.
And the sad thing is, we are, the husbands are not considering how detrimental this is, because they have a wife that is available emotionally. They want to be available emotionally, so they're ready for it. And so when the husband drops the ball, it stops the whole process of being able to get emotionally connected to your spouse, because now I'm available, but I can't do anything if you're not reeling me in.
But it's not always the husband. It can very well be the wife. And I know you're not.
Yeah, but the percentage is very small. Just honestly speaking,
Okay.
Men generally, statistically, have a harder time expressing to their spouses what they need. Women are much more, Cher saying nurturers by nature. They're much more open to saying, this is what I need. And usually what we find is, because from a man's perspective, we're not in tune to what they're needing. So when they're telling it to us nice and softly, we disregard it. But then when they start yelling it and screaming it and disrespecting us, trying to get it, now we want to pay attention. But then we associate that with disrespect.
Well, let me ask you this.
Or nagging.
Well, nagging is a whole different subject here. I'm going to say that. But let's say, the question is, why would the gentleman or the husband have a problem of communicating that with his spouse, but he doesn't have a problem communicating that with the female that he cheats with?
I'm going to answer that for you.
Yes, I want you to answer that for me.
Well, first of all, the person that he is cheating with,
Right.
It's based on fantasy. So that's something that's not realistic anyway. And so what they have created was an illusion of something that's not true. So it's like, okay, I can feel like I can talk to you and be vulnerable, but really it's not. I wouldn't say it's in depth or holds a lot of weight, because we're in the fantasy. Right now your position is just to give me what I need. So of course I'm going to be, yes, I'm listening, sure, no matter what you say, okay, yeah. But really, am I looking out for you?
But the infidelity is in itself a getaway, correct?
Yeah, but see, you have to kind of look at when you first meet someone, that person that you're portraying yourself to be is usually not the person you'll be a year, 2, 3, 5 years later. We always put our best foot forward, but even in that getting to know you stage, we're not really sharing in-depth information. We're not really sharing information that you would consider to be intimate. Most of this is basically what we would call kind of reporter talk. We're giving you facts. We're giving you information to get to know you. But from a standpoint of intimacy or being surface level, it is very surface.
Right. So I'm all about education, right?
Okay.
So I want to briefly just tell you what Demetrius was saying. We talked to our couples about the levels of communication and how it's very important to know what level you are and to develop a emotional connection, a strong, in-depth conversation. We always tell them to go into the intimacy. Now, there are different levels. What Demetrius said, there's surface level. Surface level is like who you would see at the grocery store. So a lot of times it's just really, how are you? Great. How's the kids? Wonderful. But that's all it is. It's just pretty much superficial. And then you have the reporter, and the reporter is just give me the facts. We're still superficial, it's still surface level, but